What if one single day, one single battlefield, could decide the fate of an entire civilization? What if the destiny of empires, the future of continents, and the memory of kings were all decided beneath the burning sun of a distant plain? Stay with me, because in this video, we will journey into one of the most decisive moments in human history. A story of ambition, a story of courage, a story of betrayal, strategy, and the unstoppable march of destiny. This is the story of Alexander the Great and the Battle of Gaugamela. Long before armies clashed in the dusty plains of Mesopotamia, before the thunder of hooves and the screams of warriors filled the air, there was a boy born in the rugged kingdom of Macedon in 356 BC. His name was Alexander, the son of a powerful king, Philip II of Macedon. But Alexander was not raised as an ordinary prince. From a young age, he was taught that he was destined for greatness. His tutor was none other than the legendary philosopher Aristotle. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander learned philosophy, science, medicine, literature, and above all, the stories of heroes. He read about Achilles. He dreamed of glory. And even as a boy, he believed his destiny was to surpass every hero that came before him. One famous story tells of a wild horse no one could tame, a massive black stallion named Bucephalus. Warriors tried, soldiers tried, but the horse threw every man to the ground until young Alexander stepped forward. He noticed something others had missed. The horse was afraid of its own shadow. So Alexander turned the horse toward the sun, and in that moment, the boy mounted the beast and rode. His father watched in amazement, and Philip II said something history would never forget. "My son, Macedonia is too small for you. You must find a kingdom equal to yourself." But destiny moves quickly. In 336 BC, tragedy struck. King Philip II was assassinated. The throne of Macedon suddenly belonged to a 20-year-old prince. Many believed Alexander would fall. Rebellions erupted across Greece. Enemies waited like wolves. But Alexander moved with lightning speed. He crushed revolts. He marched south. City after city submitted. And soon, the young king stood as the undisputed leader of the Greek world. But Alexander did not dream of ruling Greece. He dreamed of conquering the greatest empire on earth, the Empire of Persia. For over 200 years, the Achaemenid Empire had ruled vast lands, stretching from Egypt to India. Its king, Darius III, commanded immense armies. Millions lived under his rule. Cities glittered with wealth, palaces towered with gold and marble, and no foreign army had ever truly threatened its heart, until Alexander crossed the Hellespont. In 334 BC, with only around 40,000 soldiers, Alexander invaded Asia. The Persian Empire seemed unstoppable, but Alexander's army was something extraordinary. Disciplined Macedonian phalanxes, elite companion cavalry, battle-hardened veterans, and a commander who fought at the very front. Victory came quickly, first at the Battle of the Granicus, then at the legendary Battle of Issus, where Alexander personally shattered Darius's army. Darius fled, the king of Persia, running from the battlefield. But the war was not over, far from it, because Darius would gather the greatest army the world had ever seen, and he would prepare one final battlefield. A battlefield chosen carefully, a vast open plain near a small village called Gaugamela. It was the year 331 BC. Darius gathered warriors from every corner of his empire: Persian immortals, Babylonian infantry, Scythian cavalry, Bactrian horse archers, even terrifying scythed chariots designed to slice through enemy ranks. Some ancient sources claimed the Persian army numbered hundreds of thousands. The ground itself was flattened and cleared, so the chariots could charge unhindered. Across the plain stood Alexander, with barely 47,000 men, against a force perhaps many times larger. Night fell before the battle. Persian campfires stretched across the horizon like a sea of stars, but in the Macedonian camp, there was silence. Alexander studied the battlefield. He knew tomorrow would decide everything. His general suggested a night attack, but Alexander refused. "I will not steal victory," he said. "I will win it in the daylight." Dawn arrived. The sun rose slowly over the plains of Mesopotamia. Dust hung in the air. Thousands of shields glimmered. Horses snorted nervously. Then, the battle began. The Persian army advanced first. Chariots thundered across the plain, blades spinning from their wheels. But Alexander's troops opened their ranks, letting the chariots pass harmlessly through. Archers and javelins struck the drivers. Chaos erupted. Then Alexander made his move. Leading the companion cavalry, he charged, not straight ahead, but diagonally, toward the Persian left flank. Darius tried to respond, but Alexander's maneuver opened a deadly gap in the Persian lines, and through that gap, Alexander struck directly toward the king. The moment of truth had arrived. Darius saw the Macedonian king racing toward him, spears lowered, cavalry thundering, dust swirling. The fear returned, just as it had at Issus. And once again, Darius turned his chariot and fled. When the Persian king fled, the heart of the army collapsed. The massive force began to crumble. What followed was chaos. Thousands fled. Thousands died. The empire that had ruled the world for centuries had just lost its final chance. The Battle of Gaugamela was over. After the victory, Alexander marched into Babylon, then Susa, then Persepolis, the magnificent capital of the Persian kings. The Achaemenid Empire was finished, but Alexander was not done. He would march farther east than any Greek before him, across deserts, across mountains, into Central Asia, into India, building the largest empire the ancient world had ever seen. Yet destiny has a strange sense of irony, because the man who conquered the world would not live long enough to rule it. In 323 BC, in the city of Babylon, Alexander the Great fell ill, and at just 32 years old, he died. His empire would soon fracture, but his legend would never fade, because on that distant plain, at Gaugamela, one battle changed history forever. One king defeated an empire, and a young dreamer from Macedon became a legend of eternity.